Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live edition of the Rewatchers Council, or if you're listening to it later on, it's the same thing. It's always
Yeah,
recorded live, I guess. You know what I mean? Without a net, Adelia, how are you?
I'm doing good. Usually live to tape, as they used to say
Oh
back in
yeah,
the days,
in the
but
classic sitcom days.
yeah, live today.
Yeah,
Doing good. Happy to talk about this episode. Not the
sure.
greatest episode ever, but one
At,
that definitely sticks out in my mind from when I was a teenager.
it's not great, but at least it's fun. You know
It's
what I
definitely
mean?
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not maybe not the best episode, but at least it holds up its part. Considering it's yet another episode that was supposed to happen earlier. This was supposed to happen before Angel loses his soul. That's why he's kind of just shoehorned in there. But
Yeah.
maybe the best scene of the episode when it happens. Who knows? Anyways, before we start, this is serious. I would like to apologize. We sent over some pictures for the graphics. Our graphics site, Alex, does a great job putting our graphics up there. I didn't know I let one slip in of my ex-wife. My ex-wife,
Ooh.
Adelia. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
She's worse.
Alex
She's way worse
definitely
than that.
Alex definitely put the monster from this episode, if you will, on the
Oh,
thumbnail this time.
we'll talk about those monsters in a bit or whatever. But go
Mhm.
fish. Well, I'll talk about it when we get there. All right.
First, let's say
Before we,
hello to Brennan, who's saying hello there, my fellow counselors. Hello to you, sir.
hello, Brennan. Had a good time on his live stream this past
Absolutely.
weekend. All right. Original air date for this one, Adelia. I think you've already guessed by now. I'm just kidding. May 5th, 1998. Now, this is written by David Fury and Elon Hampton,
Mhm.
husband and wife team. It will be the only episode in which Elon Hampton is credited as a co-writer. Of course, her
Okay.
husband David there goes on to write 17 Buffy
Yeah.
episodes.
This
Becomes
episode.
eventually the co-exec. Oh yeah, eventually becomes a co-executive producer and stuff like that by the end of the that series as well. So uh, it gets better for Fury. Let's just say that. Plus,
Yeah.
he gets the mustard out, but we'll talk about that way later than this.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So directed by David Semmel. The last one he directed, Adelia, was probably, did I say it was my favorite episode of this entire season? What's My Line, Part 2? I
You
believe
might have
I
said that, yeah.
That's the last time he directed an episode. Now, pop culture wise, the number one movie in your United States of America, I guess Canada as well. I think they track North American box office.
Yeah, it's North American box office.
He Got Game, Adelia.
Okay.
You don't remember He Got Game? I believe it's a
I remember the movie exists. I've never
yeah,
seen it.
I believe it's a Spike Lee joint.
Mhm.
He didn't call them films. Denzel Washington, and of course a young Ray Allen also stars in this.
Oh, this is the one with what is it? Jesus Shuttleworth or whatever his name is. Okay.
Sure. All right. I can't remember. Anyways,
I'm
number
gonna
one
look that up
song.
to make sure I'm right now. You tell us the songs.
Very good. Number one in the U.S. Still Too Close by Next. Deserves to be number one. What a great song. Still holds up. The number
Yes,
one
I'm right.
song.
Ray Allen played Jesus Shuttleworth.
It's nice that you got the character. I'm so bad at that. As you know. The number one song in the UK. All That I Need by Boyzone.
Sure.
Yes. This is in the golden era of British boy bands or teen
Mhm.
bands and stuff because S Club's coming, guys. Canada still torn by Natalie and Brulia. That won't change for a while. Okay,
What's the US one?
too close. Too
Still
close
too
by
close.
next.
Still too close.
Still too close.
That doesn't surprise me.
You're making it
That
hard
was
for me. It's
a
not the
very
song,
big song.
huge. I listened to it the other day. I was, it's like, what I want to listen to? Too close. Okay, so the DVD synopsis. Xander goes undercover on the Sunnydale swim team, Adelia, after members begin turning up dead after apparently being skinned alive.
Kind of accurate.
Well, yeah. Well, to say by the end of the episode, it's a little unfactual, but
Yeah.
we'll see why. We'll see why.
Towards the beginning of the episode. Yeah.
Sure. So new location, Adelia. It's new location time
New
on Buffy.
location.
To start right off, we start off party on the beach.
So it's a coastal town.
Well, they have the docks. We know that. So
Yeah.
So I guess further down from the docks or up, who knows? That's where
The
Sunnydale Beach would be.
Yeah.
Did you find it surprising that the Scoobies were actually at the beach party? They never seem to be the most popular bunch.
It
Hanging
did
out with the swim
surprise me
team.
a little bit that the Scoobies were at the party with the swim team.
Sure. You'd figure Cordelia for sure, but
yeah, Cordelia for sure, but I don't know.
Well, they're in there. This is the junior year. Is that what you guys do in America? This is their junior year. Maybe they're starting to branch out. Willow's becoming, Willow's growing. She's now, faculty somehow at the school.
She's faculty. She's got a boyfriend in a band that we haven't seen in a hot
Hasn't
minute.
seen in a while. This happens
Yeah.
all throughout this season. It's so crazy. Anyways, okay, so we get to the beach. They're having fun, stuff like that. And we get yet another weird teen jock hitting on Buffy. This one
It's a pattern.
is a pattern with her. And they always think they always talk like they're so articulate and stuff like that too in this town. It's so strange. Anyways, this is Cameron Walker. He's played by Jeremy Garrett. He did a few things. I thought he has one of those faces like where I know I've seen this guy in a lot more stuff. I don't think I have. He was in all the Ferris faves. And
all the Ferris faves.
Without a
trace.
It
seems to be a pattern with these guys.
Yeah. CSI Miami. Also Sweet Valley High, which I'm sure Ferris likes, and he hasn't said it though.
I do remember Sweet Valley High, so
yeah, he's going on this so huge soliloquy here, Dealy, about how the sea is powerful, nurturing. Oh, it's merciless, for goodness sakes. I like Buffy's response to him. That is always seems big and wet.
Big and wet, yeah.
Yeah, which is nice. And he tries to do a little pass kind of thing. He seems like he's trying to make a pass at Buffy, and she shuts him down. But then we hear some yelling for help. And poor Jonathan.
Poor Jonathan.
Looks like he's getting hazed. I still don't know. They must have his name by now. They must have said his name. I was
they call him Jonathan.
Yeah, eventually or whatever.
I don't remember them calling him Jonathan prior to this.
No. So Buffy goes and puts a stop to it. Jonathan is upset by this, much in the same way Xander was earlier when she had to stop in and help. The guy that was hazing him has a tattoo on his arm.
He does.
A shoulder. A cigar smoking shark, which I get. But again, these kids are 17 years older, so they're just allowed big ass tattoos. This isn't a time where it wasn't a big thing. Tattoos. To have a tattoo.
The kid having a tattoo is definitely not the way I remember the kids at my high school.
No, I didn't know anybody with a tattoo for a while. Anyways, we have a guy come, talk to the bully there. His name's Gage Patronzi. And you've probably recognized this guy.
Of course, it's Wentworth Miller.
His first on-screen credit, they say. I didn't even go into what he had to do. He had 15 episodes or 15 seasons of a show if you wanted to go see it or whatever. So
yeah, everybody knows who Wentworth Miller is. I don't think we need to run through his credits.
I only knew, the only thing I know him from was like The Flash. When he was like that bad guy character in The Flash. That's the only other thing I've ever seen him in.
Anyways, the thing that definitely made me like. I remember when Prison Break started. This episode stands out to me so much that when Prison Break started and I started seeing commercials for it, I was like, oh, hey, it's that guy from that Buffy episode.
Oh, good eye for that. Okay,
So,
so
yeah.
yeah, pretty good. So they start walking away, and then Gabe is walking a little bit ahead, and then he starts smelling something a little rank. He looks
Yeah.
around for his buddy who was staring at the ocean just a minute ago. He hears something calling out to him. Another weird
Yeah.
calling out thing that really doesn't lead to anything.
No, it
And
doesn't
this
lead
that
to
happened happens twice in the last episode. And this one, there's a calling because of the sea. Anyways,
The
what's
ones
he
in the
called?
last episode at least made slightly more sense than this does.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the one about Giles does. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he turns around.
I said slightly more sense.
Yeah, that's
complete
true.
sense.
There's no complete sense at all. So he turns around. The camera pans down, and there is a smoldering pile of clothes and skin. Probably your favorites.
Definitely not my favorite, but definitely not the worst part of this episode.
No. So then we see like a lizard kind of guy walking underneath the dock, and that's it. So about these lizard guys, they're gonna have a lot of references about fish in this. Does that thing seem fishy to you at all?
No.
I would keep calling it more amphibian, but I guess it's not as much fun to say go
It's a sea
lizard or something.
monster.
Yeah, some kind of sea monster. Anyways, we get to the school. Willow's teaching pie charts, and Gage is not participating at all and stuff like that. He's he's trying
Playing solitaire.
He's the entitled kind of jock and stuff like that, and he's entitled because here comes Snyder. Of course, Snyder saying, Gage is a top swimmer on the swim team, and the team's finally going to have a chance to go for a state championship. I'm going to keep reiterating this a few times in this. So maybe, his work is more in the neighborhood of a D. You know what I mean? Instead of an F, even though he has done no work and has done no tests, stuff like that. Willow is a little taken aback by this.
Snyder in this scene also asks Willow to keep teaching.
Yeah, she's going to teach through finals now.
Yeah,
Willow is just faculty.
Willow's faculty.
Yeah, probably not getting paid. I'm just going to say this again. She is a scab right now. Like if that I don't know what that teacher she needs doing at all letting this happen.
Yeah,
I figure they could just get anybody to do it. Anyways, so we get to see Willow telling the Scoobies about this in the library. Xander's a little miffed because he works incredibly hard to earn his D's. You know what I mean? Cordy kind of tells him that winners are entitled to certain perks. Like entitlement may be one of the themes of this entire episode for some reason that they put at the very end of the season for no reason. Again, I'm going to keep reading that. This episode probably fine where it should have been near the beginning of the season and stuff like that, but whatever. Xander starts talking about how all men are created equal, what she thinks about that. And Cordy, of course, calls it propaganda spouted out by the ugly and less deserving. So pretty on brand.
Pretty on brand for Cordy, yeah.
Cordy's doing her job. So we get to see. So some reason, Buffy is hanging out with Cameron again. She's getting.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I thought she made her. She made her point.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah. So she's Cameron is still yammering on about the ocean. She cuts him off because he's talking about Gertrude Ederle. For goodness sakes, Adelia, the first woman to swim across the English Channel.
I will say this. I was friends with some of the swimmers on the swim team at my high school. My high school had a pretty decent swim team. I don't remember any of them being so obsessed with swimming that they would know Gertrude Ederle's name and
I'm gonna have a question about a swim team for you. It's nice that you do know that you guys had a swim team. There's no way we did, not at my high
Yeah,
school
we
and stuff
definitely
like that.
did.
I'm gonna ask a question about it in a little bit. Anyways,
Okay.
she just wants to thank him about getting to hang out without any romantic pressure and stuff like. He says isn't about pressure. He just wants her to be comfortable. Adelia,
That's when I knew he was a creep.
that's like my next thing I wrote was barf.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a little cringy. Then of course the next thing he asks after that is if she's wearing a bra.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah,
that just will make a teenage girl instantly comfortable.
yeah. Then he locks the doors from the inside. One of those doors that gets locked from the inside that you can't just open up.
Yeah.
I thought that was a whole thing where you can easily
The child
just
lock
open it.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was only for the backseat. But anyways, he reaches for her and tells her, "Oh, she likes rough." So because of that, she grabs his arm and smashes his nose into the steering wheel. And of course,
It's
Snyder is right
Principal
there.
Snyder. Yeah. It's right there.
Right there. Uh, yeah. So we go to the nurse's station. Of course, Snyder's blaming Buffy. That's his only job, it seems, for at least his first season. Cameron, or first season for him. Cameron, I guess it's not his first season. Sorry, in this second season of the show. Oh, that. Cameron said, of course, that she's leading him on. Coach comes in, even though it looks like his nose is busted as hell. The coach comes in and just looks at him and says, "Oh, that at least it's not broken." Like, how would you know that?
Yeah, it definitely looked broken,
Yeah,
but
yeah, well, yeah, and bleeding, well, puffed out. Yeah, that was a brokenness. Anyways, so this coach, played by Charles Cyphers, he worked a lot. He's has over 100 IMDb credits. He was on ER, Seinfeld. He was in Halloween. I know, one of your favorites.
no,
Major
it's not.
Major League. Fortunately, passed away like just over 2 weeks ago. He passed away August 4th.
Oh,
So, R.I.P. to Coach Charles Cyphers. Anyways, Buffy over here is Coach and Snyder start mentioning something about something happened to Dodd, who was a skin boy on the beach there. And Coach Martin tells, oh yeah, I guess his name is Coach Martin. He tells Cameron to hit the steam room. All right. And tells the nurse's name is Ruthie Greenlee, to take good care of him. And she's, of course, played by Conchata Farrell. Now, did you recognize her right away as well?
No.
Okay, well, she was in Aaron Brockovich and Mr. Deeds. Mr. Deeds probably
Okay.
where I know her best from, but then she was, of course, Bertha in 2.5 Men.
Oh,
Forever.
see, I never watched that. So
I had to see a lot of that at points. Anyways,
in that
Coach
scene, doesn't Coach also tell Buffy to, not dress like that?
yeah.
What? There's nothing wrong with what Buffy's wearing. Absolutely nothing.
It's like all the things they say about Cordelia, who's basically dressed in a parka the entire time she's ever on screen. Anyways, yeah. So the coach tells her to dress more appropriately. He tells her that this isn't a dance club.
She's wearing like a tank top.
Yeah.
It's not low cut. It's not revealing. I was so confused by that, but yeah.
1998, maybe a different time. Unless you're dressed,
maybe.
Unless you were dressed like Amish, you were dressing like, I don't even want to say. Anyways, so everyone's at the library now. Buffy fills everyone in. But what happened? Pauses when she mentions that the swimming team's been acting like jerks recently. Then asks how they're doing. Giles kind of shames her here. Says, thank you for taking an interest. And then they fill her in on Dodd's gruesome demise, which is pretty gruesome. When Buffy asks someone ate out his insides, which is, Willow responds, like an Oreo cookie.
Yeah, that was not a good analogy there, Willow. I will say.
It would be fun if someone just, just twist and Anyways, never mind. I think it's fun that Snyder told the faculty to keep the news quiet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just for now. I guess it's a fact that news of stuff like this does not spread around Sunnydale very quickly. There's been multiple murders on that campus. Never mind over at the beach.
Yeah. This was pre-cell phones at this point, really accessible cell phones the way we have them now. So
The way they are now, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, there was still summer where you could play Snake on them. I remember that.
yeah,
So
I know I didn't have a cell phone in '98.
I didn't have a cell phone for a very long time. All right. So we get to our first visit to a student shower in quite a while, which is nice, pretty gross.
Yeah.
So heat cameras in the steam room, but something's lurking outside it. Then it opens the door, Adelia. Oh my gosh. But it's just Coach telling that he's had enough. He's had enough of that steam room. So Xander and Cameron collide in the hall after this. Cam calls Xander a loser. Xander compliments Cameron's nose. Xander's, been sticking up for himself for a while now. I like it. So they start going face to face. One thing I noticed, and I was surprised about, is that Nikki Brendan's a pretty big guy. And this Cameron guy was noticeably bigger than him.
Yeah, he was very much bigger than him.
Yeah, and so I thought, oh my goodness, that doesn't happen often. So anyways, Cam says Xander's lucky that he's hungry. So Xander starts mocking him for some reason that the cafeteria is closed. All these kids are just walking around these halls when no one's ever there. This is an established fact. There's an open door policy at Sunnydale High School. Cameron has to tell Xander, not for me. You know what I mean? So he goes to the cafeteria, and despite he has a recently broken nose, I don't know if you ever broke your nose, Adelia, but I would imagine
I have not.
A little tough to smell stuff or whatever, but he can smell some growth. Xander starts hearing a scream and clattering. He runs to the cafeteria. Tables and chairs are thrown all about. At least there's no snakes this time, if you remember.
No snakes this time.
Yep. There's a large, steamy pile of human remains, it seems. Xander, retches, as I imagine a regular human being would, and then turns to see a lizard monster behind him. But it seems he easily escapes because he goes to a commercial break, and he's just in the library after that.
I'd like to know how Xander escapes.
Probably just calmly. Just calmly walked away.
Probably. I'm sure he was completely calm.
Maybe it's just like the wild. Maybe they're just as afraid of us as we are of them. You know what I mean? I don't think that's right. So, so he's doing like he's describing what the monster looks like to Cordelia. Cordelia turns out is some kind of a sketch artist for them now.
Yeah, like what?
It's a good skill to have. Yeah, I can't draw anything. She's much better than me because she basically nails what this thing looks like just by Xander going on about it. As Giles seems to doubt this picture again, more doubting from Giles and stuff like that. So strange. So Cordy then says he probably ran like a woman. So that's how we know that how he escaped. Probably ran like a woman.
Yeah, that's not a great line.
No, he tells her that she would too. I guess. Will and Buffy show up and tell everybody that Dodd and Cameron were the team's best swimmers. And Cordy's bummed out that Sunnydale High School won't win state. Again, is it like winning state? Like, I'm from Canada. It's not a huge deal. Like, our school has won provincial championships, but
in high school athletics, getting to a state championship game or winning a state championship is a pretty big deal.
So. Okay, well, it better be because we're gonna discuss the reasons for things in a little bit. We go to Buffy thinking that somebody conjured this monster out of revenge, which leads Willow, of course, to single out Jonathan. Buffy tells her to question him. All right?
Yeah, why?
But she's for it. She's up. She's up for this. She says she's gonna
Yeah,
crack him. She's gonna crack him like an egg, Adelia.
sure,
So
Willow.
yeah, Buffy's goes. She's gonna go and keep her eye on Gage. Xander asks what he can do. Cordelia tells him to go to the parking lot and practice running like a man.
Yeah, not a great line either.
I did like how he sadly starts holding himself after she says that. Though.
Did.
Yeah,
That
I
was
like
funny, but I
Yeah.
don't like those lines.
that. Not very good. So Buffy, of course, is doing her best espionage kind of spy stuff or whatever, watching Gage as he's playing his Game Boy in the expansive student lounge they have there, Sunnydale High School.
Yeah.
Regular high school for regular people. Then we get to see the interrogation of Jonathan. He tells Willow he didn't make the team because he's asthmatic.
I mean,
She
that
asks,
at least makes a little sense.
sure. She asks if he wanted revenge. He admits it, but says when she says he delved into the dark arts and conjured a beast from the ocean's depths, his response is, "What? No,
No.
I just peed in the pool."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect Jonathan to have conjured the sea monsters
Yep.
yet. Anyways.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's put a pin on that. All right. So poor Snyder here consoling his coach, but he assures him that the deceased would still want the school to win state. Again, it's a big deal. Coach tells Snyder that unless they can find someone by that afternoon's tryouts, they can't compete. And Xander overhears this. He says all he has to do is wear a bathing suit, right? And so Xander jumps into action. We go out to the Bronx. We still see Secret Agent Buffy keeping an eye on Gage. He's of course, he's noticed her the whole time. She's not the best at keeping a low profile.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she wants to know what's up with her. She tells him that she's a swim groupie. Any swim groupies at your school, Adele?
There might have been actually, yeah.
Ooh, weird. Anyways, then he gives him the actual truth. Of course, he doesn't believe her. Tells her to go harass somebody else. All right. And so he leaves. He calls her a psycho bitch loud enough that Angel hears him, because Angel is hanging around because they have to remember that there's a big bad in this second half of the season and stuff like that. He's just hanging around the back of the Bronx, or the exit of the Bronx, I suppose. So he immediately
just automatically assumes it's Buffy.
Immediately he knows who he's talking about or whatever, and then they start complaining to each other about Buffy. Angel tells him that someone should knock her down a peg, and then gets all vamp-faced and says that he's recruiting here, Adelia. So he goes to bite him, just as, of course, Buffy is just exiting as well. So we see Angel drop Gage and then start spitting. Of course, then gets a roundhouse kick to the face, which is always so funny. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But every time she roundhouse kicks someone to the face, I start laughing. She grabs a hairpin. I don't know if it's like a chopstick or something like that. She's going to stake him with it, but just throws Gage into her and takes off. But when he takes off, he just kind of meanders. He is in no rush. Like, oh, she can deal with this guy now. It's like, I'm just going to go at my own pace. So Gage gets up. He asks if that would kill Cameron. Of course, Buffy says, unfortunately, that's something else. And unfortunately, there's a lot of something else's in this town. And tries to leave. But, Gage asks her to walk him home, which is nice.
Yeah.
A little role reversal here. So we see now, Adelia, the newest wing to tiny Sunnydale's high school.
There's so many.
It's their Olympic-sized pool.
It's the largest high school I've ever seen.
Yeah. Buffy, Willow, and Cordelia are They're checking out the, I guess it's the practice now. So they get filled in on the previous night's events. Corey's a little confused about why Angel would just spit out the blood. Willow says that maybe his eyes were too big for his stomach, which I like.
Sure, Willow.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure that's how vampires work, Willow.
Right. Buffy says that, I think a little more correctly, that maybe there was something in Gage's blood. That she says steroids, for example. I think a lot of people have a weird idea of what steroids were in 1998. But anyways, let's go on.
Yeah.
Willow says that that might be what's attracting the monster to them. Is that, the smell of steroids. Buffy asks Cordy if there's been any luck researching that monster. She says they couldn't find anything matching Xander's description. And then she calls him Chicken Little, says he's not much of a witness and stuff like that. And then stops. And see, you got a nice little bass track. As there's a new swimmer on the team. And, the camera pans up from the knees, goes up slowly through the Speedo, the torso, and finally landing on Xander Harris's face. Adelia.
Yeah.
Willow yells out Xander, and he goes and grabs one of those flotation devices and holds on to it and stuff like that. I don't know what he was.
The
can't be shy now. Yeah. Nowadays, I guess they have those full body suits or whatever they swim in. I guess not that. So he goes over and tells him that he's undercover. Everybody's undercover in this episode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He tried out for the team and made it, I guess, the night before. Says this way he can keep an eye on Gage and the others. Now when Buffy can't, Willow says on this or whatever, he says, when they're nude. So yeah, there's good lines in this. She says, I mean changing. So, and for maybe the first time, Cordelia actually seems proud to be Xander Harris's girlfriend here. We get Xander go up on the block, and then Willow lets him know what Jonathan did. Just at this point, Xander jumps in the pool awkwardly. That was not good. That was a lot of thigh hitting that water.
Yeah.
Anyways, next scene. Swim team's all in the steam room here. Xander starts asking questions. Camera starts panning to a grate just outside the steam room. So we see some gross lizard or fish fingers coming up from below and start lifting it off. So Buffy then is lurking outside. I'm imagining this is supposed to be that they wanted her to be lurking just outside the locker room, but it's just a hallway. Like you can see, like lockers and stuff like that, and benches and stuff, and a water fountain and stuff. It's just another part of the school or whatever.
It was the hallway outside the locker room, I guess, but.
I guess so. Yeah, you gotta. I also have to remember they only had really one hallway to film in that school or whatever they did. Can't even remember where it was now, but that's it. So they have to make the best of it. Anyways, she's out there. Xander comes by. He's kind of telling Austell. She asks where Gage is. Xander says he's tying his shoes, but they're not Velcro, Adelia. So it could take him a couple of minutes. Not like that. As then Gage
tags her.
We see Gage in the lockers. Something smelling gnarly yet again.
Yeah.
And he's wondering what that smells. He smelled that smell recently. He should know what that smell is. So he starts investigating inside a locker.
Yeah.
I don't know what, all right. We see Buffy, because Gage just start yelling for help. She runs in there. That fish lizard monster's arrived now. Buffy gets there.
This is the worst scene of the episode for me, by the way.
Oh, really? He gets her first look at the creature. Now she's nonplussed. Like, she doesn't seem afraid. She doesn't seem. She's just like, monster. All right. See, Gage is kind of in pain here. He starts screaming and moaning. And I don't know if you ever saw the miniseries V, Adelia.
No.
V back in my day was a big deal. It was a miniseries about lizard aliens that came to Earth, and you could
Okay.
peel their skin away and see that there were lizards underneath. So basically, this is just revisiting me for V because Gage starts tearing at his
So
chest,
gross. So gross.
ripping the skin off, molting into yet another lizard monster. By the way, he's doing this. Buffy was fighting that monster, and he's doing this, and then Buffy's, the other monster just starts chilling out, not doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. When V kind of Gauge guy or whatever is fully transformed, they start getting a little growly with her. She kicks one, starts fending him off for a bit, but one bites her, which is odd.
Yeah.
Then the coach shows up, and our amphibians friends kind of do the banana slide into this to another grate they have on the floor here.
Yeah.
Buffy goes to get her bite wound looked at in the nurse's station. Buffy and Giles both tell the coach that his missing team members are monsters now. Then they start questioning him about PEDs. He says he was afraid to ask them about it. Now, I'm going to say this. Up to now, the coaches seem sincere. So I think a little bit when something happens, when a swerve kind of happens or whatever, I don't mind it. I think that was good for them to play the coach sincere here, anyways. So we go to Willow's computer lab. They've been researching some stuff, and in 1998, Adelia, torn tendons, fractured wrists, depression, and headaches, all symptomatic of steroid use.
Yeah. I remember not it being very prevalent among high schoolers, but I do remember that being around the time when it became like the baseball, everybody talking about the steroids, the baseball thing.
I just started thinking back to Sosa and McGuire must have been around this
Sosa
time,
and
right?
McGuire. Yeah, I don't remember
Barry
exactly when
Bonds.
Sosa and McGuire was, but this was definitely around the time when they started discussing steroid use in sports because of the baseball stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely a boogeyman, especially back then. So, and people just look so unnatural. Now they can do it. Carl Lewis was doing it forever. No one ever knows. But they used to just start looking like huge monsters. Like, take a look at McGuire in 1988, then look at him in 1998. Incredible. So, anyways, it turns out turning into a fish monster, not symptomatic of steroid use. Okay.
No, it's not.
Yeah, which is lucky. Otherwise, Mark McGuire would be a huge fish lizard. So, Buffy says that
quite a few baseball players would be huge fish lizards.
Oh yeah, the 1990s would be stuffed full of fish lizardry. So, Buffy says that Nurse Greenlee treated all of these guys. So she has to have known what happened. Xander says, well, he's going to go nab that nurse. Willow's going to want to throw the book at her. But Buffy says, oh, she's probably at home now, so this can wait.
Yeah.
When do they ever do that? I didn't,
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. She gets Xander to go find out how, and the hows and the means that the swim team are getting those steroids in them. Buffy and Giles are off to do some tranquilizing, which is always fun. They're pretty good at it, and they get werewolves. So it's down to the sewer for them. They wander around, not seeing anything for a while. These expansive sewers that they have in Sunnydale. But there is something kind of following them. It's a fish monster, by the way. Also, I thought it was bizarre that just for some reason leaning up against the ladder is an old tire.
Yeah. I don't know why that'd be in the sewer.
What did somebody eat to make sure that the tire was just hanging around. Anyway, so we go back to the steam room. Xander's trying to be a little nonchalant. Everyone's trying to be nonchalant here.
Xander doesn't know how to be nonchalant.
I don't think any of them do. So this is what I was going to say about your swim team. So there's 8 guys in this steam room right now. 8 guys there, and there's 3 missing at this point. And let's not include Xander. So is a swim team usually around 10 people? Is that about right?
I mean, that makes sense to me because especially like a high school swim team, I think like a professional swim team would be more like going to the Olympics or whatever. A country takes more than 10 people. But you have the 4 strokes, so 2 for each stroke, that'd be 8, and then a couple of extra guys to make up a relay.
Okay.
That seems like a number of people that is not strange to me.
We did not have a swim team again. So he starts asking about when they're going to get their next dose. He pulls the veneer away, and he gets told it's aromatherapy. They all start laughing. He gets told it's aromatherapy. Cordelia, and that the steroids are in the steam. Did you recognize the kid that tells him this? That's eventually, I guess, his name's Sean.
I did.
But so yeah, he's Shane West. Now, I was imagining maybe you had seen that movie, A Walk to Remember, the Mandy Moore.
I have not.
Movie. I've never seen it, but of course I heard about it, and it's the only reason why I knew that Mandy Moore was an actor before This Is Us or whatever. And then he goes on to play Tom Sawyer in The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which was a good role for him. But I don't know whatever happens to him after that. Just I think he was in that show Salem and stuff like that. And I don't know if I'm frozen or if Adelia's frozen. You know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to carry on like she's the one that's frozen, seeing how she's a notoriously bad internet thing. She's kind of speeding up. Okay, you just kind of started speeding up. I was kind of vamping about it. I didn't want to give your exact location, but I was going to say your internet not always the best. Now you just popped up on a second thing.
Yeah, it sucks today. Sorry about that.
Is this the real Adelia?
I was saying that I know Shane West from when he was on ER, and then Nikita. I watched all of Nikita.
I was going to say Nikita too. I was saying, I think he was on Salem. I think was the last one he knew that I knew he was on. Anyways, all this news, a literal jaw dropper for Xander, who drops his jaw. I just wanted to mention it. So we go to the pool, and this is where the swerve is kind of happening. The nurse was actually pleading for the coach to stop juicing the kids, Adelia. Yeah. He tells her that there's no room for quitters on his team. All right.
Not a great coach mentality there.
But I guess he's one heck of a scientist. So he tells her all he has to do is adjust the mix. He's got to adjust the mix.
Adjust the mix. That'll keep him from turning into sea monsters.
That's also exactly what a world-renowned scientist would say. So, she says they'll become monsters and don't make it any worse since they've already lost 3. Says they're not lost. Then pushes her into an open sewer grate in the basement. How bad does Sunnydale High School smell? There's open sewer grates everywhere.
Think about that. Yeah.
That's all I can think about. Anyways, he says the boys are still a team and they got to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Delia. And with that, yet another Sunnydale High School faculty member is food for students, which is something you'd say once or whatever. You'd say, "Oh my goodness, that's something." But now twice, and just to think, it's just a start.
Weird.
Just to start. But all right, we go back to the library. Xander, of course, a little here on edge.
On edge, yeah.
But he's been getting dosed I don't know if he's just on edge from nerves, maybe on edge from the steroids. Could be a little bit column A, could be a little column B.
Could be a little concerned he's going to turn into a fish monster.
I believe he might be as well. She says, Buffy says to him that she wouldn't break out the tartar sauce just yet, which is nice. That's your friend. She's saying that about. Cordy's concerned about people will think of her, knowing that she's dating the creature from the Blue Lagoon. Cordelia.
Yeah.
Of course, pop culture Xander gets pretty upset about this, about saying it's the Black Lagoon. Blue Lagoon was Brooke Shields and stuff
Brooke
like
Shield,
that.
Yeah.
Buffy suggests starting to round up the other swimmers. Giles wants to find out what's actually in the gas, so an antidote can be produced. Willow heads off to do some more interrogating. She's got the, it's like she's got the taste for it now. She wants to go interrogate people. She's going to go interrogating their screening. She says that the trick to interrogations, Adelia, not leave any marks.
Yeah.
She's brutal in her methods, but she gets the job done. You know what? It's about getting the job done.
Yeah.
I think it's what's important. Buffy says she's going to go talk to the coach, despite the fact that she had literally seconds before saying she was going to go round up the swimmers. So okay, whatever. Then we get to see her pressing the coach for answers. Of course, it doesn't take long for it to break. It takes literal seconds. You just need somebody else besides the nurse to start asking about it. So there were some Soviet documents. Okay.
This is the most preposterous explanation for this.
Yeah, always blame the communists. That's been my life's motto. The details how they've been administering fish DNA to their Olympic swimmers. But despite all their resources and know-how, they were the first country to put a man in space. But they couldn't crack the fish monster code. It took Coach trying to win a state championship. That's how important it is. So she says, "Well, enough of this. It's over. No more swim team for you." Then he tells her, of course, that her school spirit is poor. I think that's something she hasn't not heard before. You know what I mean? Then pulls a gun on her. Ideally.
Yeah, just the gun laying there.
Yep. This one at least isn't like a ghost gun. This one seems to be quite real. Yeah. Tells her to go jump in the sewer. You know what I mean? Because about the open sewer grates that they just have lying strewn about the basement areas here at Sunnydale High School. Yeah. So she jumps in. Goes right under the water too. Like that can't be, particularly healthy, I would imagine.
No.
You'd imagine she would have had a nasty case of pink eye after this. We see Nurse Greenlee's body float by. There's just 4 marks in it. Like she was set out to get eaten. Maybe they have a discerning taste. These poor fish guys. And Coach says they already had their dinner. Turns out they have other needs.
Which was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, this is the second time this has been done in this episode. But nice. Anyways, Cordy and Xander are walking by the pool now. She figures that Will and Giles must have rounded up all the rest of the team or whatever. They haven't found anyone. Xander, of course, keeps pawing at himself. He goes to check if his neck is scaly. He tells her to stay poolside, and within seconds, of course, we get to see yet another fish dude jump into the pool. She sees it. She thinks it's Xander. Starts blaming herself. So
This was very sweet of Cordy.
Yeah, she says he joined the swim team to impress her. And of course, then she takes time to appreciate how he looked in a Speedo. And then even though he's a little fishy now, she'd still date him if he was into it. Says you might want to go see other fish and stuff like that, and promises to make his quality of life better by giving little bath toys to him and stuff like that. All that's very nice stuff. Except, of course, Xander walks up next to her right then and tells her that, of course, that's not him. And then it jumps up at them, but very weakly. It's like it's like a 4-year-old going, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not something you get to, like you're supposed to be some scary fish monster. Anyways, we go back to the library. Giles is stuffing the swim team into the library's prison there in the cage.
Yeah.
This is just while they're getting an antidote. Now, there's only 5 of them in that cage. There was 8 previously. I believe one had become a monster since then. One had become Xander since then. They said that was the whole team. There's one missing.
One missing, yeah.
This is never addressed. It's just simple math, guys. It's simple math.
Yeah.
Anyways, Xander and Cordy show up to tell her that Sean there is skinless dipping in the pool. They figure that the other monster had to have been Sean, the guy that's told him about the steroids. So, meanwhile, we go back to Buffy. She's still sewering it up. Monsters are starting to circle her now. Xander sneaks up behind her. Or Xander sneaks up, behind Coach. He's just kind of watching from up top and stuff like that. This isn't great. He asks asks him what he's doing. Coach says, asks Xander how he's feeling. Xander says nothing that a little lemon and cream sauce or butter sauce can't fix.
What?
Everybody thinks it's fish. So he asks where Buffy is, and then Coach, you see the coach glance over at the gun, but in the sewer, the fish start biting now. But Buffy's doing her job, fighting him off. Coach grabs the gun. Xander grabs his arm, knocks the gun loose, drops him. The monsters stop fighting now, and for some reason just encircle Buffy and do the slow creep toward her. Xander goes to the sewer hole, sees her, tells her to grab his hand. When it looks like at times that she's mere feet, and he just drops his hand down and stuff like that. To jump up again, she goes under the
water. Yeah,
this is
so
not
gross.
a swimming pool. This is not a swimming pool.
So gross. Really gross.
Then she jumps up, and again, it's just like the fish monster guy, kind of jumps up like a 4-year-old. She just kind of see her kind of jump up, but this little jump up manages her to jump like 8 feet in the air. I never got that. So anyways, they get up, or she grabs her up, even though the monsters are grabbing onto her too. He still manages to grab her. They start catching their breath, and Coach hits Xander in the back of the head with a pipe wrench. Buffy just trips him. He gets to fall into the sewer this time. She grabs his foot, but somehow his sneaker was a little slippery, I guess. He slips into the water, where now those poor fish guys decide, well, we can't have Buffy, they might as well have Coach. Buffy's line here, a little James Bondy kind of line here. Those boys really love their coach.
Yeah.
It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. So we go back to the student lounge, and we discover that Xander needs a plasma transfusions. I don't know why they didn't say blood transfusion. Cordy tells him that he's proven himself to her, and that next year, ideally, he doesn't have to try out for the swim team. He can play football instead.
Yep. Yeah, that's very Cordy.
Giles arrives to tell them that their fishy friends seem to have swum off, but Buffy correctly says they won't be seeing them again because she knows that they're going home somehow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the end of the episode, we see the ocean. We see 3 of them swim off. There were 4. Again, there were 4 of them. Who knows what the other ones? Maybe the other one's just hanging around in the sewers or whatever. All right. So that's the end of the episode. Adelia, my God, it's down to the last 2 episodes. Season 2 is coming to a close. The first part here, we're going to see some origin stories. You know, a friend's going to return here, Adelia, which is nice. And what else? Oh, yeah. We get another apocalypse.
Of course.
Yes. Becoming part 1 next time on the Rewatchers Council. Adelia, yes, I like this episode. Of the episodes that, aren't great, at least this one was entertaining.
Yeah.
I'm happy
some
that
fun
you were...
cameos.
Yeah, yes, some fun cameos. Yeah, next week, I would say a tone change again for the show. Season 2 seemed to have a lot of that, but yeah, these next 2 episodes are actually quite good. So I'm looking forward to that. So in the meantime, until that next episode, where can people find you on LGRN?
You can find me with Snark over on the Highlights channel Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're doing Starting 11 live this year, our English Premier League recap show. We just had our first weekend of the Premier League last weekend, and we're heading into match week 2 this weekend, so that'll be fun. And back here Thursdays, 3. If we record it, it's 3 p.m. Pacific, but if we're going live, it's a little later to do the Rewatchers Council. Always happy to be here.
Sure. LGRN After Snark weekends. Not this weekend. Taking the weekend off. Enjoy a little bit more summer. We'll be back the weekend after that. We'll talk some more about Marvel's entries into D23, 2024, whatever. And whatever. There's probably other things we'll talk about. And, we got a whole other week before we have to think about that. So, until next time, guys, I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, bye-bye.